playing against Jack Fogle.
Okay, I was wondering whether they'd picked up their draw against each other. The answer, no. Jack Fogle just on straight blue-white control.
Both of them earn their draws against somebody else. And if you enjoyed the making land drops and passing turn element of that last match we covered, you're really going to love this one.
Yeah, usually in this matchup, Jeskai is considered a slight favorite thanks to their lightning. They actually have a win con.
Yeah, once you get to the phase where players are not making land drops anymore, Jeskai's ability to just throw lightning bolts upstairs and closing the game that way is going to be pretty powerful in a matchup like this.
Yeah, Search for Azcanta, though. Great card here for Jack Fogle in this matchup.
Yeah, once you're able to transform into Azcanta, the Sunken Rune, though. Yeah. The format has adapted a little bit to this.
How many Field of Runes is John Rosum on?
3.
Okay, the full 4 for Jack Fogle, but yeah, both players with more Field of Runes than their opponent has copies of Azcanta.
Right.
You actually see this in the blue-white mirrors in Standard as well.
Yes. There comes a time where you want to hit Celestial Colonnade with them, though Field of Rune hitting Azcanta the Sunken Rune tends to be the biggest prize.
Same visions into Jace for Jack Fogle. Looks like out of the sideboard, Jack has boarded in a set of Spell Quellers.
Okay.
One of them is in those top 2 he's scrying on.
Depending on how you expect your opponent to sideboard, in these red matchups, if you expect them to be off of Lightning Bolt, then you can convert Spell Queller in a pretty big way.
Yeah, and Rosum, you see, this is where he's advantaged. He's going to go to work with plays like this. End step, Electrolyze you. Yeah. And each time John converts on that, he gets closer to winning.
Yeah, you just kind of chip away over time.
Yeah, Electrolyze is like the best at this because it's not even in the investment of a card.
Right. Ooh, and Jack has brought in Spell Queller and just shoved it to the graveyard off the search for Azcanta.
Okay, well, John Rosum knows about it now. Some land drops traded. You see on John's side, he's got both Cryptic and Logic Knot at the ready.
And both players checking that box and just making land drops here. Things can shake up in a way where you can end up in big counterspell wars. And Jack here, we'll see if he's able to produce a 5th land drop. He's gone over some spells here, notably Path to Exile just put in the graveyard. You want to maintain some of that. Part of that is that Rosum has some sideboard Vendilion clicks, and you do have to answer some of the creatures, and the power of Celestial Colonnade actually forces you to have some answers to that sort of thing. Yeah,
Jack was in danger of missing his land drop there, because you see he then cast a main phase opt, found a Field of Ruin. That'll be at the ready for John's Cryptic, for John's Colonnade. Now, end step, Rosum is going to make a Snapcaster Mage. He has enough mana. It looks like he's going to try to Snapcaster that Electrolyze. I don't mind this.
A free card and 2 points of damage is worth a lot.
Yeah, is it enough, do you think, to earn Jack Fogle's Cryptic command?
It depends on what you think that Rosum's going to be doing sorcery speed next turn. It's very likely that Rosum has access to some number of Planeswalkers.
So like Teferi,
Jace the Mind Sculptor, and if you spend your Cryptic command, for example, here, you're just tapped out, and then you have to do something about the Planeswalker immediately, and that means spending more mana on your own turn.
I do like when you fetch shock yourself so that you can Electrolyze your opponent. There's something about that which I find amusing. It's like, yeah, I'll take 2 so that you take 2.
And this is one of those matchups. Rosum's life total just does not matter very much. Jack pretty much needs to take complete control of the game.
As we see, that Snapcaster Mage just not enough to earn the counterspell. Jack holds up Cryptic all the same. But John now gets to swing, Rosum swinging in with that Snapcaster.
And when it comes to Jack producing things like Snapcaster Mage, you see Rosum has access to Electrolyze, he has more red removal spells. When it comes to Jack dealing with creatures, he's casting things like Path to Exile. It's just not a favorable exchange.
Yeah, and these all highlight difficulties in the matchup. But Fogle did take game 1. Remember, and both players in the draw bracket. If this goes to 3, you're going to see some real quick play.
You would hope.
Or you'll see them get a second draw. Jack will take the opportunity to Field of Ruin away that Celestial Colonnade. As far as basic land counts, Rosum has 5, Fogle has 8.
Makes sense. The 2-color deck has access to more.
Yeah.
Does Jack have my favorite win condition for blue-white control? He does.
Crucible?
Main deck Crucible of Worlds.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just into that one.
Given enough time, you can definitely wear the Jeskai player out.
You mean like on the out of resources in the game, or just they get tired?
Yes. Yes to both.
Yes. Just, man, I'm worn out from all that nothing. Jack will mill over a Spindilian Click, but that allows him to transform in his search for Azcanta into Azcanta the Sunken Ruin. Draws another copy.
So far, I've not seen non-basic land hate from Rosum.
No, Fogle's going to miss his land drop here. Now, he did get
Maybe.
an Azcanta.
Got a Crucible of Worlds.
Oh, maybe not.
That's
Wouldn't
worth
mind a
fighting
Crucible
over.
here. Yeah, that's a great card. I always feel like it's unjust that I can't bring my Azcanta back with Crucible of Worlds and they blow it up.
I don't think you're going to find much sympathy for that complaint.
I don't know.
If you're coming back to join us tomorrow,
Cryptic Command from Rosum is hit by Dispel from Fogle, which is hit by Logic Knot, delving 3 from Rosum. Which, is that going to work? 4 cards in Fogle's hand.
One of them is Cryptic Command. He's tapped out of that one, though.
And that is going to work. Rosum wins the counter war. And a big win on the counter war because he gets the counter draw off Cryptic. And hits the Dispel.
Blue-white is a little bit lighter on 2-mana interaction. Rosum 3 main deck Logic Knot to go with some negates. Fogle just on the 1 Logic Knot to go with some negates. Does have a couple mana leaks, I suppose. Those would have played there.
Apparently, John, instead of counter draw, he counter bounced the Azcanta that Fogle had in play.
Sure, that makes sense.
Now, granted,
Now, Jack just
had another one.
deploys
Yeah.
search. That you guess it doesn't make a huge difference.
I don't mind bouncing lands in this kind of matchup. A man advantage is pretty nice. Now, depends what John is going to do with it. He's got his opponent tapped out. I didn't know if John has a card like Teferi in hand. That would certainly make me want to make this play.
Yeah, Jack gets another look with the search side of Azcanta. I don't know if maybe Rosum has a Wear Terror.
He's actually, Rosum's going to cast Serum Visions. One card he did have and is in his hand is Lyra Dawnbringer. He could have just jammed her there. Now, I don't know how well that play works. If your opponent just has Jace the Mind Sculptor, it's pretty foolish.
Yeah.
But for that reason, I'm a bit surprised just to see Lyra boarded in at all.
I think a big part of it might just be that element of the Crucible of Worlds, Field of Ruin, Jack ultimately grinding Rosum off the ability to cast his spells. He just wants to land something and hope it works.
And Rosum did lose game 1, so maybe cards like Lyra have to be made. Rosum will make his own search for Azcanta in the end. And Fogle's down to 10. Snapcaster continues to attack.
At some point, Fogle could start blocking with his Celestial Colonnade. Not the prettiest thing. You do have to answer the Snapcaster Mage somehow, though.
And here's Jace. Negate from Rosum, and negate back from Fogle. And he will use the Jace to brainstorm. There's not a Colonnade in play for Rosum just yet.
One of the cards picked up off that brainstorm was a second Jace. That one's not worth a lot. Though Fogle is starting to produce some extra cards.
And he will path to exile away the Snapcaster. He's looking to protect that Planeswalker.
And this will be the last basic land from Rosum.
Okay. So future paths and Field of Ruins. Is there a way for Jack to get that Crucible of Worlds out of the graveyard, or is that gone?
You're really not going to see blue-white do things like that. Yeah, that's just not an option. You just kind of hope it's good. Does play a little bit better in matchups like Tron, where they're never going to counter it.
Now, John, with no choice but to jam Lyra Dawnbringer into an onboard Jace. Not Not the most appealing, but
it stops Jack from brainstorming.
yep, that is that is what it does, and that's why John's going to do it.
Yeah, so there's that.
I can understand if he's not too excited about that.
Right.
Now, both players do have an active Azcanta, so that's going to make it pretty interesting.
Jack does still have access to some number of Path to Exile here. Producing a Snapcaster Mage or drawing another copy would be a clean answer. Then he could start brainstorming in addition to his search.
Right. Rosum, search for Azcanta. We'll find him. Cryptic Command, not too bad.
Tapping plenty of lands. Ability to leverage Cryptic Command. There's a Dispel available as well. Can activate Azcanta the Sunken Rune in addition to casting both of those spells. Depending what he has as leftovers, he could, starting on Jack's next turn, try to bounce the Jace or maybe the Azcanta for Jack and fight over that on the way back down.
Lyra Dawnbringer from Rosum. We know it has Cryptic Command backup. And I like this from Fogle. He's going to counter bounce the Azcanta. John's going to counter back, but there's a Mana Leak ready for Fogle. And Fogle taking control again.
This Cryptic was a little bit aggressive for Fogle. It's because he's fine for another turn using the Jace to bounce. He has the Mana Leak. It's going to be met with Rosum's Dispel.
Okay. He's going to lose that. Yeah, he was going to lose the counter word to specifically Dispel here, and that's exactly what happened.
And now Rosum gets to draw that card off the Cryptic Command, and Jack is out of Cryptic Command.
Yeah, it looks like he actually counter bounced instead of counter drawing. Bounced the Jace.
He caused Jack to use a little bit more mana at sorcery speed, which is not for nothing, though the Jace gets another shot at bouncing the Lyra.
Yeah, this isn't perfect yet. Rosum not out of it. Negate picked up off the Azcanta from Fogle. Draws for turn. He's really looking for a land. He finds one but enters tapped. And then says go, not able to make the Jace. And Jack's down to 3. We got to be careful here. Lyra putting him all the way down to 3. Will Rosum be able to take this one? Possibly, as long as some number of lightning bolts are in.
Yeah, he's pretty light on cards in hand. One of the cards available is Logic Knot, and he has this Azcanta activation. If he can produce 2 counterspells, that would be pretty good.
Electrolyze is even closer. That'll turn off fetch lands. And he'll say go. Back to Jack Fogle. This is now in a tough spot. And the sideboard Lyra Dawnbringer, I was very skeptical of it, but it's doing work now.
Jack did lose quite a bit of value when you saw him fire off his Cryptic Command into Rosum maybe having Dispel.
Yeah, that counter war really was the point of this game where it turned toward Rosum.
And one way to think about it is, yes, Rosum has to have exactly Dispel, but the important thing is that Jack was just untapping with Jace and could just bounce Lyra.
Exactly. And here is bouncing Lyra again from the Jace.
I would assume that Rosum would fire off this Electrolyze end step. If Fogle negates that, that's pretty whatever. If it resolves, he gets a redraw of access to more resources. It's like Field of Rune being pointed at Rosum's land. He's actually going to Electrolyze the Jace here. That makes sense. 3 and 1 are very similar numbers for Fogle's life total. And, you know, Jace the Mind Sculptor is a really good card.
Yeah, I was going to say. Remember, no more basics for Rosum. It's the worst part, though. You still got to shuffle.
Fetch land was a pickup for turn for Rosum. That one not worth too much.
Here's Lyra Dawnbringer again from John Rosum.
2 cards we're aware of. Rosum's been holding on to a Logic Knot. We know about Jack's Negate. Negate's not worth anything against the Angel itself. Rosum plays another search for Escanta. Jack negates. And I don't know how it's kind of worth fighting over. You see Rosum does go for the logic knot. Transforming the search lets him try to dig to a lightning bolt, a way to actually close the game. So Jack's really light on resources. He's tapping out, only has one card in hand. So that's the reason that you leverage the logic knot there. Fogle's last card in hand at that point was another Jace the Mind Sculptor. So he does get to answer the Lyra for a little bit longer.
Right, counter draw on the Escanta. And on Fogle's side, you know, he has somewhat stabilized here because he's now the only one with an Escanta.
And bounce draw, actually. This is back on Jack's turn.
Okay. And we'll see the Jace bouncing again, this one on Lyra.
So Rosum will be able to deploy the enchantment and the creature again on his next turn.
All right.
And that's assuming he doesn't just draw a lethal lightning bolt, which has been live to for some time.
Right. Now, what I do like on Fogle's side is that he has Ghost Quarter at this point. So he's maintaining Escanta advantage. Here's Search for Escanta. That's fine. Here's Lyra Dawnbringer. That's fine. Lyra being cast every turn by Rosum. That's keeping the Jace from brainstorming.
Yes.
Attention players, we need 3 more players.
Jack will draw.
For a turbo draft.
And Rosum does have 3 red sources, so that Ghost Quarter by itself, it can't just clean Rosum off of being able to cast red spells.
Sure. Yeah, I think at this point Jack is just accepting the fate of Dead to Burn. 4 cards. Did Fogle miss? I think he did.
3 lands and Spell Queller. Those will go to the bottom.
So sends just Cryptic Command. So we'll have to unsummon the Lyra again.
And he can fight over that, but I believe that Rosum has picked up another counter spell. I want to say I saw negate.
And another draw from Rosum here.
And he's not even going to transform his search. He knows it just gets Ghost Quarter when he does that.
Elspeth Sun's Champion will get hit by Cryptic Command, which will be hit by negate. And now Rosum makes 3 1/1s. This is not an easy spot. You can't unsummon this one with Jace.
Can't Jace away this problem.
And Jack, a draw here. We'll see if they have to get toward game 3. They are very low. Detention Sphere, Logic Knot to Fairy picked up off Jace. Maybe.
He can't. Okay, so he can Detention Sphere the tokens to Fairy the Elspeth, and then we're still playing a game?
Yes.
You got to worry about exactly what Rosum's going to do on the following turn. But looks like he has
he's alive for the turn, yeah.
He's found an answer to the board.
All right, Detention Sphere. That targets a token. And
oh, no, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah,
Rosum has path for the token to target.
Oh, he's going to let it happen.
Okay. This could be a big deal for Jack.
Does Teferi work? Teferi? Did Rosum mess up there? If he had 2 1/1s, there's 2 Planeswalkers on 1 right here. And Fogle passes.
All right, Rosum gets to search. He's still drawing to that lightning bolt.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't seem thrilled about his top card, though.
No. If John Rosum had a path there, like I said, this is a great board for 2 1/1s. He'll put Engineered Explosives in the graveyard. It'll transform. During upkeep, Fogle will then Ghost Quarter the Escanta. John gets a chance to use it. Lightning Bolt? No. We have Jace. We have Cryptic. We have Logic Knot. We have another Elspeth.
Well, the same Elspeth, but...
Oh, right. How lucky that he drew another one.
That was the floor there, and the Elspeth does still figure to be pretty good.
Yeah. How many cards like Detention Sphere does... Yeah, and Fogle just plays the 1. Here's Elspeth again, 3 1/1s, he'll pass. But there's a lot of card draw going on for Jack Fogle here. He has many chances.
2 of the cards on the top of the deck were the ones he just puts back with a Jace. One of them was a Logic Knot. Don't recall what the other was.
Yeah, it's possible Jack could have reset the top of his deck with that as Escanta at the beginning. So Jace Brainstorm finds him There's another Teferi. That'll work. Kind of. That answers half of what's going on.
Yeah, he's treading water. He has lethal tokens, and he's facing down, and a planeswalker that makes another set of lethal tokens every turn.
Yeah, Jack is playing on the margins here.
Yeah.
Logic Knot, Opt, Colonnade, Teferi. He's used the Jace. He still has not used the Teferi.
Yeah, so he gets to end up with 3 of these cards, or he can Azcanta through them and then use the Teferi.
Yeah, he kept Logic Knot, Opt in hand.
Not really a difference in searching through these cards or opting them both away.
Well, it's interesting that he's plus the Teferi here. He's chosen to draw Colonnade. And I guess Colonnade can block if he has enough mana.
Right,
That's
yeah.
a lot of mana, though. He'll use his Azcanta.
On following turns.
Is that Secure the Waste?
It looks to be.
That's huge here.
That'll afford him some time. He's tapped a little bit low. He gets 4 tokens, though.
Yeah, well, he has Logic Knot. He gets untap 2 lands.
Right.
Okay.
So you can make 6.
He can make 6. He can make 4 safely, or he can make 6. Right? If he wants to leave, depending on whether or not he wants to leave up Logic Knot.
The Teferi only ticked up to 3, but yeah, the way he brainstormed there, he put away the second Teferi, so the current one can't tuck away the Elspeth on the following turn.
Yeah, his next draw is going to be Teferi, right?
Well, he searched past it, right?
Oh, no, you're right. He did. Elspeth pluses to 6. So here's a swing with 3 attackers. He can't Azcanta. Oh, I want to see where these creatures go.
John minimally knows that Celestial Colonnade's available as a blocker. He has that Path to Exile. That's all that's happening that he held on to.
Well, Jack, if he wants to, could make 2 tokens and get another Azcanta. Instead, it looks like he's going to make 4 tokens. Here's Secure the Waste, leaving up Logic Knot. And we have, importantly, Ryan, hit turns. We're going to confirm that we're on John Rossum's turn right now is turn 0.
If Jack can just make this game last 5 more turns, he'll have earned a match win.
And confirmed, we are currently playing turn 0. This is John's turn. So here's Lyra Dawnbringer. That's that same one which we saw so many times.
This card's been cast several times in this game.
Yeah, and is that enough for the Logic Knot from Fogle? It is. He's going to delve. Looks like he needs to delve away 6.
No problems there. Plenty of cards in the graveyard.
And that will work. Lyra Dawnbringer is down. But Jack's not out of the woods yet. Here's Baneslayer Angel, John's other 5-mana angel.
Okay. Jace has that covered once.
Right, Jack's on turn 1. John has 2 more attacks.
Celestial Colonnade is a chump blocker for Baneslayer Angel, also has that covered once.
Now we're getting to a real interesting part of the game.
Yeah.
And you do have to watch out because on the last turn of the game, Elspeth can make an emblem.
Right.
On John's right on turn 4.
Yeah, it's ticking up to 7. -7 is that emblem for +2/+2 and flying.
Brainstorm, I believe, was the mode used, though, from Jace.
The Teferi will be going up to 3, though. And then on Jack's next turn, he'll have access to that -3 if that's enough to turn off his problems. In particular, that's an answer to the Elspeth before it can emblem.
Jace brainstorms. Jack puts 2 back and then uses Azcanta. He draws another Jace. That can play.
That's more on summons.
Right? And that's what he'll do. I like it so far. Teferi will draw. He'll draw, looks like just another land. But we have Queller. We have Jace. I think you got to unsummon the Baneslayer Angel here. And that's what Jack will. He'll make the Jace. We'll see if that unsummon is the play it is. He'll put Baneslayer Angel back into Rossum's hand. Gets to untap 2, leaving up Opt and Spell Queller if you'd like.
Neither of those are bad ones here.
No, I think it'll be interesting to see him untapping 2 at the end step, though. Whether or not he wants to leave up, whether he wants to make this Queller or use this as Azcanta again. So John's on turn 2. He has 2 more attacks. He has to find 3 damage. If that Azcanta finds a cryptic command, Jack Fogle likely has this. Elspeth up to 7, 3 more soldiers. If you're in Rosum's situation, Ryan, you have to deal damage to this Teferi, right? Otherwise, it's going to get you.
Yeah, that third loyalty is going to shut off your Elspeth's ability to close the game. You have a lot of attackers.
Right.
You can go through combat and see how many of these you come out on top with.
And there's always a chance that Rosum draws a cryptic, an Electrolyze or something like that. He's going to path away the token. He's going for lethal, it looks like. Swing, paths the token.
Yeah, so he declared attackers first so that a cryptic command couldn't just tap his creatures.
Okay. Do we have something from Jack here? He has Spell Queller, right?
That's what you've been saying.
I think
if it's
so.
there,
If it's there.
We'll see if Rosum can fight over that in any way.
Yeah.
It looks like a spell caller to me.
He can try to opt first, see what else he finds.
Yeah, that's really the only thing you can do with leftover mana anyway, so it makes sense to start there.
All right, so start with an opt. John Rossum's got 2 cards in hand, though. If either of them, well, one of them is Baneslayer Angel.
Right.
But the other one, if it plays here, John's going to get the win on this attack. The draw was something blue. And here's Spell Queller on the path. That'll work. Blocks 2. Takes 1. Fogle down to 2. He survived the first attack. He has to survive 1 more.
So now that token's out of the way.
Yeah. We see Field of Ruin activation on Fogle's Azcanta. With Jack at 2, Electrolyze is lethal now. If Rosum can find one.
And it would have to be Snapcaster for the one in the graveyard. Just 2
he's
copies
used
in
them
the
both?
deck.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I think so too. Recast Baneslayer Angel. So Jack has a lot of this covered, right? Teferi can tuck something, Jace can unsummon something. Mana Leak can hit the Baneslayer Angel.
Okay.
That's huge.
It's currently just 4 attackers. Spellcaller blocks 1. Jace can get rid of another one. Celestial Colonnade can block a 3rd.
Teferi can tuck a 4.
Teferi's probably hitting that Elspeth.
Well, if you hit all 4 of the tokens, why is Teferi hitting Elspeth?
That could be, I guess if you got all 4.
It's gross. There's only 1 attack left.
There's mana to leave up 2 colonnades. Yeah, the Teferi can kind of go at either one and is probably good enough as long as we're dealing with the other tokens, which seems to be the case. All right, Jack's going to review the graveyard here. Wants to make sure he doesn't leave himself just dead to something stupid. Starts with a Brainstorm. It's like Teferi and a couple lands. I want to say that Snapcaster Mage was the pickup for the turn, based off both that it looks like a Snapcaster Mage and Jack spent some time reviewing his graveyard. Something like an upkeep Snapcaster, tap these tokens down, should be pretty good here.
Sure.
Using the Cryptic command.
So turn 3, he just going to have to make it through. And to be honest, Jackson is probably going to tuck away the Elspeth, where not only is he going to be able to draw out game 2, he likely wins this game if it keeps playing.
Yeah, he seems to have effectively turned the corner. He seems to have taken control of the game.
Yeah, and he'll say go, upkeep, Snapcaster, tap the team. This is turn 4. Tap, bounce,
bounces
bounce
Spell Queller.
Nice.
This way he has Spell Queller in case Rosum draws a Lightning Bolt.
That was really nice.
Yeah, that Path Exile is not doing anything in Rosum's hand.
Really strong play by Jack. Teferi from Rosum. Jack can just let that resolve.
Yeah, I mean, you can't Spell Queller it, but also it doesn't matter.
Card for Rosum. Any burn spell gets quellered. This is turn 4. And Jack Fogle on blue-white. He's going to take this one with an excellent showing in the control mirror.
Yeah, I was able to just leverage extra cards, get online with Teferi, just the Mind Sculptor as content the second rune, and really pull ahead with them in that game.
All right, so